You mentioned you've done 4-stroke karting championships, but not 2-stroke. Any specific reason for that?
So honestly, the only thing was 4-stroke karting was to build our bases.
Right.
So our basics were built by Rohit sir, and to put them actually on track in races, we stepped into the JTI 4-stroke karting championships.
Okay.
We felt that we wanted to just get the hang of the 2-stroke and then step into the LGB category.
Acha, that was the plan.
That was the plan.
So what exactly is the difference between 4-stroke karting and 2-stroke karting?
So in layman terms, the difference between 2-stroke and 4-stroke is basically that the 2-strokes are faster.
Okay.
So obviously the forces you feel is much more, the handling is much different. Like the car will slide more and obviously you'll have to adapt to it. If you want to go for 2-stroke, it's better that you have your own car rather than renting one, because rented ones, the conditions are awful.
Okay.
So it's better that you have your own car than maintaining it and all the maintenance cost that comes with it.
And now you seem to be very much focused and interested, I would say, in saloon car racing. Any specific reason for that?
Honestly, I feel that there's a way you can manipulate those cars when you're driving them. Formula cars, you turn them this much, they will turn this much.
Right.
Right?
Huh.
There's a margin you have to stick to drive those cars. For me, it's not just my love for cars or speed or motorsports, it's all of them combined together. And that I feel you get more in the saloon cars, where you need to learn about the car more rather than just driving on a margin.
So, Muskan Jubbal, what's happening?
A lot is happening.
We'll talk about that in detail.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think your journey, not just for me, but I think for a lot of guys and girls, men and women out there, is super inspiring. और मुझे लगता नहीं, I don't think many people even know about you right now, unfortunately, because of what motorsports currently is in India. That position it still doesn't hold. But let's just start with how it all started for you, because you being a 17-year-old, I don't know, when did you start driving? When you were 5?
I started when I was around 8 or 9 years old, back in 2017. It was just a very normal casual day, and I remember it was my brother's friend's birthday party, and my cousins from Bombay were here. So we were like, okay, let's go karting. And that one fine day turned into my love for and passion for motorsports.
This you're talking about the first day when you drove?
Yeah. So we were unbelievably fast. I was like, what, 8 or 9 years old? And my mom and dad were surprised, like, oh, ye to chala sakti hai. We just started, and we got to know there were in-house championships. We started in Smash.
Okay.
So we got to know about the in-house championships and participated in it, and got noticed by Rohit Khanna sir.
Okay.
And then we got under training with him, my brother and I. Practiced for a few years with him, and then we stepped into the professional national karting for the JKs in four-stroke.
Okay. Interesting.
So yeah.
And then after karting, talk to us to the journey.
Okay, I've participated in multiple streams,
Okay.
but mostly staying in circuits only. So I went from karting, four-stroke. I've also done two-stroke karting, but not championships.
Okay.
Then I was training for 3 years with Ahura for LGB F4.
Okay.
Then I've done Formula 1300s with
Okay.
Miko.
Okay.
Then I've done TSD rallies with my mom
Okay.
as a second co-driver.
Okay.
And I've also done saloon cars
Okay.
championship,
Okay. Okay.
as well as autocrosses side by side,
Huh.
dirt and tarmac both.
Okay.
My mom, so BND Motorsports, Lakshay sir, he's been very supportive since the beginning.
Okay.
So since I was underage, I wasn't allowed to participate. So after the event would get over, my mom would request him ki ek do lap chalane do. So that's how I learned how to drive the car, honestly.
Okay.
How to drive it on the autocross track, and just practicing 2-3 laps after the event got over. So starting में हाथ थोड़ा सा serious लगता था कि we have to win, best करके आना है अपना, because I was 13 or 14 years old that time. But now at this point, BND Motorsports largely is the only one organizing events in the north side, right? So after I come back from my championships or whenever it's over, I don't have any other racing going on. When I come back here, it's like, okay, studies ke beech mein I need a break. So I just go and participate, just have a fun casual day.
And I think also apart from that, it just keeps your senses alive.
Yeah, it's like just keeping me connected to the sport so I don't lose the touch.
Correct. But tell me one thing, and I'll keep asking you questions in the middle, honestly. You mentioned you've done 4-stroke karting championships, but not 2-stroke. Any specific reason for that?
So honestly, the only thing was 4-stroke karting was to build our bases.
Right.
So our basics were built by Rohit sir, and to put them actually on track in races, we stepped into the JKTI 4-stroke karting championships.
Okay.
Then we had training for 2-stroke.
Okay.
We didn't step into the championship for 2-strokes because honestly we just needed to get the feel of it. And then it was time for us to, we felt that we wanted to just get the hang of the 2-stroke and then step into the LGB category.
Acha, that was the plan.
That was the plan.
And
Because
why?
2-stroke in layman terms is basically 2-stroke is basically faster and you need to adapt to it. So the G forces you feel is different. The handling is different, obviously.
Okay.
So that's where the major difference comes in. And we preferred going towards the formula category instead because 1300s and 2-stroke is the major difference, honestly, is just that the 1300s are closed. You have a body protecting around you and no roll cage.
1300 is LGB then in that
No,
case?
LGB Formula 4 is different and 1300s is different.
1300 is different. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 1300 is basically 1300 cc.
Got it.
The LGB F4s, I believe they have 1500 cc's. Or 1600 and 1500 cc.
Okay.
1600s ki different category hai.
Okay.
And then the next level is 2000s cc.
Oh, okay. And you've done 2000s also?
I haven't done
You haven't.
2000s. So
Okay.
before I could get to 2000s, I found myself more inclined towards the saloon cars.
Okay.
So
what exactly is the difference between 4-stroke karting and 2-stroke karting?
So in layman terms, the difference between 2-stroke and 4-stroke is basically that the 2-strokes are faster.
Okay.
So obviously the forces you feel is much more. The handling is much different. Like the car will slide more and obviously you'll have to adapt to it.
Okay.
If you want to go for 2-stroke, it's better that you have your own car rather than renting one. Because rented ones, the conditions are awful.
Okay.
So it's better that you have your own car than maintaining it and all the maintenance cost that comes with it.
Okay. Okay.
So honestly, I feel going into Formula 1300s is a better option after doing 4-stroke because there isn't much difference between two-strokes and Formula 1300s,
Okay.
except the fact you obviously have your roll cage and a body protecting you,
Okay.
and the gear stick.
Okay. Okay.
But otherwise, I feel even though karting is funner, but the Formula 1300s will give you a similar experience on a higher level.
Okay.
And same for the budgeting as well.
Mhm.
And then obviously you can progress to LGP4 and then 1600s to 2000s.
Okay. And now you seem to be very much focused and interested, I would say, in saloon car racing. Any specific reason for that?
Honestly, I feel that, you know, there's a way you can manipulate those cars when you are driving them. So the Formula cars, you turn them this much, they will turn this much,
Right.
right?
Huh.
There's a margin you have to stick to drive those cars.
Right.
But for the saloon cars, I feel for every single lap that you go, there's a new way you can figure out to drive that car.
Oh,
So
okay.
if I feel for me, is not just my love for cars or speed or motorsports, it's all of them combined together. And that I feel you get more in the saloon cars, where you need to learn about the car more rather than just driving on a margin.
Okay. Okay. And is it because, I think you just already answered that, it's probably because single seaters are way more attacking in terms of steering
Yeah.
and overall driving experience as compared to saloon, which is why you're saying saloons you can play around more.
You can play around more. Like,
Okay.
So I've done 2 seasons of the MRF saloons,
Okay.
right?
This is ETOS you would.
ETOS,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So the first year, my dad and I, we just spent learning about the car.
Okay.
Also, we had help from these 2 people from Sri Lanka, Rosita and Kesara.
Okay.
So the thing is, you need to learn about the car and how it behaves.
Okay.
According to the track, you need to set up the suspension for every single side of the car, like the front tires and the rear tires. So in Formula, there isn't that much play you can have, but in that car, you can set it up to your driving style. And you know, if not that, you need to adapt to it. And
Okay.
the play you get, the manipulation you can have is just that. Obviously, it's safer because you have a body protecting you. So
And now, what's your plan now? I mean, after the recent race that you did, I think the last one was in couple of
August.
months back, August.
it was in August.
Now, what's in the pipeline?
So for now, actually, I'm focusing on my studies because I have my boards in March.
Oh.
So after that, I'm planning maybe going further for saloon cars because I'm planning to go abroad for the studies. So wherever I get my admission and wherever I decide to go, we'll see from there what the future holds for me.
And what about your friends, your fellow students? How do they react to the fact that छुट्टी भी ले लेती है, रेसिंग भी करके आ जाती है, फिर नंबर भी आ जाते हैं, टॉप भी कर लेती है? What is?
I recently got to know they termed me as an actual nerd.
Oh,
I don't know why, because I don't study. I legit don't study. I mean, a few times you'll see me studying on track. That too accounts. Because वो करना पड़ता है. Accounts is not easy. नहीं होता. But otherwise,
अकाउंट्स तो फिर इजी है, नंबर्स का सारा
नहीं है easy. मतलब you'll feel that way कि it's only numbers would be easy. But जब वो issue of shares, forfeiture, debentures, सारे एक साथ आ जाए, is not easy.
Okay.
But like, otherwise, my friends, वैसे बोलो तो they're actually very supportive.
That's
Like, half of them didn't even know what motorsports was.
of course not.
It's like, oh, गाड़ी तो चलानी होती है, इसमें difficult क्या होएगा? You just around track, you just go around it, accelerator पे पैर दबाना है. Like, I remember I was telling one of my friends कि, oh, I'm 2.5 seconds off from the top driver who's timing the best. He's like, so his exact words, तो accelerator पे पैर दबाना. I mean, going full on the accelerator, there's no more space I can go. I was like, तो और fast I'm like,
But-
thanks, I know.
So that brings me to a question which I was planning to actually ask you much later, but I'll still ask that ऐसे कई सारे misconceptions होंगे. I am sure you would have experienced people talking to you and you would have figured कि this guy clearly or girl has a misconception about motorsports. Can you talk us through a couple of those misconceptions like the one you just did?
Yeah, so the major one is actually misinformation or absolutely no awareness about what the sport actually is.
Okay.
So, of course, everyone seems to know that motorsports is dangerous, right? And it is. It's very dangerous. But for some people, especially in India, it's like it's similar to street racing. What they do, like driving fast on the roads, for them would be similar to what they might term motorsports as what we do on track, right? Which is completely wrong. Sure, going fast on roads might be fun, but it's not safe. In track, however, if I add a bit of technical terms, right?
Please go ahead.
In track, actually, it's not just going full on the accelerator. From basics, you need to learn about the racing line. And if you're defending the defending line, you have to take, which you have to change according to the driver behind you.
Right.
The braking points, the apex, and how you might have to change your lines as because of the tire conditions or the track temperatures. So you have to have really good adaptation skills for that.
Right.
If you have a good car, that's good for you. But learning on an average car and becoming a good driver is what you have to focus on. Because I remember from my races, there were times where I've seen the other drivers, they had weight advantage, right?
Okay.
So they had really good cars, they had weight advantage, yet I was better than them.
Okay.
The idea most people have about racing or motorsports is not true. Or even if they know about motorsports, is only to the limit of Formula 1. Like,
I was just about to say that they might know what F1 is, but they might
don't know
not
anything.
know what Formula, what motorsports actually is.
There have been people who've come up to me and been like, हमको Formula 1 में जाना है, हमको सिखा दो कैसे करना है. I'm like, मैं अभी तक पहुंची नहीं हूँ, आपको सिखा दो.
तुम मुझे सिखा सकते हो, तुझे सिखाते हैं.
Okay, but there are certain steps you have to follow. Like, you can go from karting and then, for India at least, you go to 1300s, Formula 4, 1600s, 2000s, and then we recently have the IRL championships as well as the Indian Formula 4 championships. So get into those, and then next you can figure out going from Formula 4 to Formula 3 to Formula 2. And if you're lucky enough, Formula 1. Because there are only 20 drivers that can race on the grid at once.
Of course.
So,
And I think, although you would already know about it, but I'd still mention it, that you require loads and loads of money if you want to get into something like a Formula 1. Because I remember my conversation with Anmol. वो खुद भी बता रहा था कि आराध्य अगर F4 तक भी तुम पहुंच जाओ तो even if I quote a vague figure around 70-80 crore rupees तो कम से कम तुम्हारे लग ही जाएंगे 70-80 करोड़ रुपए, और वो भी शायद वो कम ही बोल रहा है. That's what Anmol also mentioned.
So, what I'm aware about for India, the Indian Racing League Championship that has come up, right? I believe for one driver for a season or a round, it's 90 lakhs plus taxes. So that's like 1 CR, and then your travel and stay. That crosses 1.5 easily for a season.
This is IRL, you know.
IRL, that happens in Chennai.
Wow. Okay.
So it is not pocket friendly at all. It's not just about your vehicle, but also the safety gears, your inners, shoes, suit, racing glove. Gloves.
Correct.
Your helmet, balaclava. So you need to take care of all those things as well, because obviously there's you need it FIA approved.
And those things are expensive as well.
Those things are expensive as well. So it's not just about the vehicle cost you have, because obviously that's quite high, but it's also about the safety gears, your inners, your socks, your shoes, the 3-layer racing suit, the helmet, and your balaclava, your gloves. So all of them combined, the racing suit alone actually ranges from 40-50,000 to goes up to, I think, 2.5-3 lakhs. depending on the layers you have and also the year validity and the brand or the design you're going for.
Of course.
So there are a lot of other things that come into play, but it is quite expensive.
Okay. Walk me through a typical race day.
Okay.
So how does it start? What goes on in your head when you wake up, and then everything about a race day?
So for me, a good night's sleep is actually very important. Like if I don't feel energetic in the morning, I'm like, today's day is gonna be trash. It was like I wake up, it was like get ready, of course, and then meet mom and dad, because I usually prefer to wake up alone in the morning to get my mindset right, give myself a pep talk, like you can do this, like Lightning McQueen's gives like I am.
Don't you feel like awake in the night? I mean, just out of sheer excitement of tomorrow's race. How can you sleep? I wasn't like me. If I know tomorrow's a race, I'll not be able to sleep only.
That is there, but honestly, the thing is, I gotten used to the feeling.
Of course.
But more than that, a lot of times I've had this feeling of anxiety. It was like, because in a race, anything can happen. And when you go with the mindset, you're like, oh, you need to win. And mostly the thing with me is I didn't have confidence in my car.
Oh.
So after that did happen and I got confidence in my car, learned about it, built it according to my driving skills, then I was like tension free, like podium to aa hi jayega. Nahi aayega to at least it's a learning experience. So at this point I'm accustomed to the feeling of excitement or the anxiety that comes with it. So neend aa jati hai. And the thing is, the previous days you've been practicing and you've been working on the car, so you're quite tired by the end of the day. So even if you have those feelings, you end up sleeping on time, so it works perfectly fine.
Probably, which has been the most challenging, or the most, I would say, let's not talk about challenging actually, but the most memorable race for you?
So
And why? What was it about it?
the most memorable race actually was when I won this. I remember it was 2019, the grand finales for 4-stroke JK Tyre karting championship national. And it was the juniors semi-qualifiers.
Okay.
And I got T-boned in the semi-qualifiers, and my entire right leg was swollen. I could not walk, and there were people coming up to me and they're like, oh, you should not race, you should go to the hospital, you're not well, you can't race. And they sent me to the ambulance, like, get a checkup done. And then Sandeep sir came to me and he was like, are you well enough to race? I said, I've not come this far to just set out on the finale.
Sandeep Sharma you're talking about?
Sandeep Kumar.
Acha. I thought she's talking about Sandy Bhaiya.
No.
Acha. Okay.
So I said, I haven't come this far to just set out on a race. So I started P6 in that race and I finished P3 along with my brother who finished P2. So in that time, my leg wasn't working properly. It was working, but it was swollen. It was hurting in the beginning, but when you get into the race mode, whatever other feelings you have just goes away. You're completely focused, right? So I was like, I have to get on the podium. I have to prove myself.
Okay.
So before your race started, you had to pick your chits. Whatever cart number you got, you had to sit in that.
Okay.
So I started P6, made a few overtakes, and then I remember when the race got over, I started counting. You're like, okay, that person is first, that person is second. And no, that's my brother, and I'm in third. It's like when the last lap got over and we got back to the pit lane, I still remember I was hitting my brother's car from the back, like, look back. What dekhi raha tha? He was too busy. You're like, race khatam ho gayi. He was happy. You're like, P2. I'm like, look back. Why aren't
यार तुम्हें वो अपना adrenaline enjoy नहीं करे.
Honey, then he looked back and it was someone else. He's like, what are you doing, man? What is wrong with you? And then he looked, it was me. He's like, oh, you went the 40. So that was quite an exciting moment because that was the first time we were sharing the podium together.
Okay.
That too, a national one for our first championship. So that was the moment I was like, all you need
Huh.
is to believe in yourself. And then you can do anything in the world. You don't need to prove yourself to anyone except yourself. Your only competition is you.
Brilliant. So, what do you think is talk to me a little bit about the whole motorsports scene in India, and I'll tell you from which aspect am I asking. Because there are so many young boys and girls like you who are wanting to get into motorsports. आप लोग तो खैर you and just so I think you guys got into it much earlier. But what would you like to say about the roadmap for people wanting to get into motorsports at a younger age? Is there like a roadmap?
There isn't an official roadmap actually, but what is suggested, and a lot of people who aren't aware actually, like so many people who are lost, they come up to us and they're like, we have absolutely no idea what we should do, but we want to get into motorsports.
Okay.
And they don't know that there are different streams also, that there is autocross, rallies, gymkhana or circuit racing in general that you could get into.
उनको बस motorsports पता है, but they don't know.
पता है कि उनको गाड़ी चलानी है.
Okay.
But when it comes to beginning your journey in motorsports, I suggest that you start with karting first, because that will make your basics clear.
Okay.
From your racing line to braking point, your apexes, main things actually.
Yeah.
Karting will clear those out for you.
Sure.
Then you can progress to your formula cars if you wish to do circuit racing.
Okay.
Or if you wish to do autocrosses, you need your own car for that, or you could rent. So you could do that. So for rallies also, there are different rallies.
Correct.
You have your INRC, Indian National Car Race Rally Championship.
Rally Championship.
And then you have your TSD's rallies, which is based on time, speed and distance.
Correct.
So whatever you want to do, I suggest you start from karting. Explore what different streams provide.
Sure.
And what you have the most interest in, you pursue that. Rather than being ki, acha, this is the only option I have. Because that's not the only option you have. In India, it's quite limited compared to the other countries.
Of course.
But it's not like you only have one option either.
That after you, so let's say you're done with karting. Let's say you've got a podium in karting, and now you're at that stage in life wherein you are trying to figure out what next, an LGB or whatever it was. Who guided you towards that, or was it just that you went for a few events, saw another kind of circuit racing, and then you were like, yeah, this is something that I now need to put my get my hands dirty with?
So it was an interesting story actually. My mom, she was participating in this talent hunt for Ahura. They have those LGB4 cars.
Okay.
So they're a team. Sarosh Hataria is the team principal.
Okay.
One fine day, mom tells me ki, there's this team principal, Sarosh Hataria. She was participating for the talent hunt, Ahuras, which was being held in Cartomania that time. And Sarosh sir asked her that who's the fastest female on track right now, if you don't mind me asking. And she said, it's actually my own daughter. He was like, how old is she? So when she told him about me, he was like, yeah, I want to see her drive on the track. Then after she picked me up from school, that was around 3 p.m. We went back home, changed. I was very tired, very sleepy, exhausted. Came on tracks, drove one around. And I actually clocked in my own personal fastest lap. And he was shook. And he wanted me to come to Coimbatore on the Kari Motor Speedway track. And it was completely free of cost for me. And that was the first experience I had driving the Formula LGB car. And it was
you're in 7th right now.
7th. I was 13 years old.
Okay. And what about the competition in LGB that time?
I was running first.
No, as in the competitors who were trying to probably clock their lap times as well.
So they had been practicing for a few days actually, but couldn't clock as fast as me. To actually participate in the talent hunt in Coimbatore, there were pre-selections that happened on the basis of fastest timing according to the zones.
Okay.
So for the North Zone, the location was Kartomania.
Okay.
So we had the karting rounds there,
Okay.
and whoever clocked the fastest timing, I think there was a cap on the number. So
Okay.
the first top 6
Okay.
drivers went on to Coimbatore, and then they participated in the talent hunt, and whoever won the talent hunt, they got the sponsored season.
Okay.
This was in 2019.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
And 2022, I participated again in the talent hunt. Won the championship. Participated in 2022's talent hunt and stood as the clear winner again. And that was the year they were introducing the mixed grid
Acha.
for Ahuras, because Ahura was initially all women's team,
Okay.
but then they also had males coming in.
Got it.
So that year I participated in the JK's LGBFO championship as well.
Oh, okay.